Hey Coach, Lone Star Gridiron has been the leader in Coach's Show podcasts for 20 years, and now you can get your own Coach's Show podcast each week during the season as a fundraiser for your booster club. Yes, booster clubs all over are using these podcasts to help their sports programs. You get to share the stories of your program and your kids to a huge audience and make money. We started with just football, but this year have expanded to make them available for all sports. Call 713-269-4620 to find out the details and get your Coach's Show started.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Coach Joe Carey from Tomball Memorial High School to the show. Coach, how are you today?
Doing very well, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, you bet, you bet. And while you are relatively new to Tomball Memorial, you're not new at all to coaching. Give us a brief background of where you were before here.
Well, I'm starting my 25th year total in coaching, starting my 11th year as a head coach. Been very fortunate to work for some great guys at some great places. I was at Harker Heights, started under Ross Rogers, San Antonio Reagan under David Wetzel, worked at Aledo under Tim Buchanan, Port Neches Groves under Brandon Fairclough. So worked for some great head coaches before I became a head coach at Crandall up near Dallas. Was there 6 years before we moved to Hondo for 2 years. Then we were at Brazos Wood, and now we're here at Tomball Memorial. Just got here back in February.
Nice. And in some of those places as head coach, you're kind of seen as a turnaround guy, but here there's nothing really to turn around. So talk about how that's different.
Yeah, it's exciting coming into a program that's had some success, and Coach Parker and that staff did a tremendous job the last few years. So, coming in, it was easy to see that these kids they've been coached. They really understand the game of football. They've got a really good, football IQ, if you will. And so it's been fun working with those guys the last few months throughout the spring and summer.
Nice. And talk about that, getting to know the kids, the time you've put in and how you've developed relationships. Do you have a feel for the team already, and do they have a feel for you and what it is you bring different?
Yeah, I think being able to come in like the last week of February and had 2 or 3 weeks before spring break, and then we were able to jump into spring football, and then we had our summer workouts for 7 weeks throughout the summer. So we've been able to spend quite a bit of time together with our kids, and I've got a full staff hired, so they were all here all summer. So I think we've been able to spend quite a bit of time with the kids and really get to know them. And we had a senior retreat last weekend where we spent the day with our seniors and really got to dive into some things. So I think the relationship piece is really starting to come together. I feel like this group has tremendous chemistry. You can tell that these seniors, they've been together for a while and they've played together for a while. So some great leadership skills there on that group. So I feel like that piece of the puzzle is really coming together. I think they're starting to, every day they get to know me and our coaches a little bit better, and we get to know them. And especially since we started our season on Monday, getting outside and seeing them run around on the field a little bit. So it's been good.
Nice. And what do you think is the biggest thing they've noticed that's different about Tomball Memorial football under Coach Cary than it was under Coach Parker?
That's a tough one. I'm sure Coach Parker and I are probably similar in some ways as far as, the big things that are important to most coaches. Yeah. Probably the way we talk and the way we go about our day may be a little different, but I think the work ethic, the high expectations that we have here is probably very similar. The offense that we're running, the defense that we're running is all a little different. The terminology and all that good stuff. So probably just some of the ins and outs of the day to day, I guess, in football is a little different, but I don't think the expectations are any more or less than they were. And like I said, these kids, they've been coached very well. They're hungry. They're excited. They have high expectations of themselves. And so that's like I said, I think that's a compliment to the previous staff. So there's probably some things that are pretty similar. But what we're doing out on the field is probably a little different. Maybe the way we approach the weight room or some things that we do just in our day-to-day operations might be a little different.
Excellent. And you've been around the kids long enough that you've probably started to identify some of those athletes that you're going to rely on heavily. If you could pull out a few names that we should watch.
Yeah, starting with the defense, where they graduated quite a few guys from last year, but the leading returning tackler in the district, Ethan Lee, he's really the anchor of our defense. He's our middle linebacker, and it kind of starts with him there at linebacker. But we've had some guys step up. Andrew Encia, Aiden Budsides on the D-line are two that we're excited about, and Dietrich Gray, Jack Craven, some guys in the back end at safety have really taken a role there, on the defense. Offensively, our quarterback, Aiden Martin, is back from a really good year last year. We've got 4 starters on the offensive line that are back. So that'll probably be, if I was going to list, probably the strength of our team, I would say it's probably our offensive line up front with Sutton Clark and Jaden Young, Caden Alonzo, Henry Beulah. Those guys are all back. Isaiah Nelson and Trey Green are 2 running backs. Both saw significant playing time last year. Gunnar Becknell, our fullback, is back and really looking good right now. And so what we're looking for is a receiver to step up and be that guy. Randall Russ, going to be a senior, caught quite a few balls last year, so looking to him to have a great year. And then Gavin Westerberg's another one's going to be a junior, and really excited about his season at receiver.
Nice. And how about the district? What do you know about them? I mean, you've had a lot of homework trying to catch up on a new area, a new district, realignment, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
well, Coach Flanagan, our athletic director, was the head coach at Tomball for a few years, and then, of course, Coach Handel over at Tomball. Coach Handel, we've known each other for a while. We're good friends, and just speaking with him and some of the coaches around the area, got a couple of buddies that work in the district. The thing I keep hearing that I keep finding out is that every week it is a battle, and I think top to bottom. I think most of the guys that are back, the coaches in Klein ISD, the 2 guys in Magnolia that are coming up to 6A would probably tell you that this district, top to bottom, is as deep as any in the state of Texas. I think on paper you're probably looking at Klein Collins and Klein Kane as the early favorites. I think most of us would agree that they're the favorites, but I don't think there's really a lot of disparity between any one team. 1 through 9, I think, could probably beat anybody on any given Friday night. So it's a deep district. There's a lot of good coaches. There's a lot of good players. And, I think every Friday night you're going to have to come ready to play, or you're going to be embarrassed. So it's a lot of fun to coach in that environment. I think that brings out the best in all of us, and coaches and players, and knowing that we've got to be fully prepared each week when we step on the field. Of course, a 9-team district, you have 8 district games, so you're only going to have 2 non-district games.
Right.
And those 2 were already set when I got the job.
And what are those 2?
We open up with Humble High School, and then week 2 we have Cy Creek.
Nice. Solid schedule. It's going to be a tough contest.
Absolutely. Yep. It's going to be tough.
So you came in, you've been blowing and going solid. Did you have any time this summer to take some time off and relax?
No, not really. I think when you first take a job that first year, to me, it's just important that the head coach is here and present. So I was here every week of summer workouts. My wife and I are empty nesters now. So both of our kids are off doing their college things. So, we had some little weekend getaways, went up to the lake a couple times, and,
nice.
Did some couple of family outings, but no, nothing extravagant this summer. Maybe next year when we've got a year under our belt and we have a staff in place and, things are running pretty smoothly, but felt like this first year with a new staff and, new system, just offense and defense and the different things that we were doing, that it was important that I was here every day. So didn't do a whole lot this summer other than summer workouts with these guys up here.
Nice. And you mentioned at the top of the show that had some things that are going to be different as far as the offense and defense. For the fans watching, what can they expect when they go, whoa, I wasn't expecting that?
Well, I've watched most, if not all, of last year's game film. And offensively, they're going to see some similarities as far as how we line up and some of the schemes. We're going to be a little more up tempo. We're going to play pretty fast offensively. So that'll probably be one change that they see. We're going to be pretty simple in what we do. We're just going to try to do it really fast if we can. So we'll be a little up tempo. Offensively, that'll be a little different. Defensively, probably is where they'll see the biggest change. Last year they were more of a kind of an odd front 3-3 stack type defense, played a lot of man coverage. And we're going to be more of a 4-2-5. We're going to be an even front this year. So the defensive scheme is a little different. So that'll be probably the most noticeable change for folks is our defense.
Nice. Well, Coach Cary, gosh, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me, and best of luck this season. I look forward to talking to you more.
Well, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you having us, and thanks for all you do for high school football in the state of Texas.
Thank you.
This show is brought to you by the book, All I Need to Know I Learned from My Texas High School Football Coach. A handbook of wisdom for parents, young people, and yes, even coaches. Head over to www.learnedfromcoach.com and order your copy to support sharing the stories of these great coaches and leaders. That's learnedfromcoach.com.